Welcome back to Fall Day 1 and 2 of the Stardew Valley Min-Max and 100% Perfection Guide. We're going to dive straight into this first day of fall, so if you need a refresher of what happened previously, check out the summer recap video, which I'll leave a link to. And if you're new here, consider watching my previous videos or recaps first, and I'll leave a link to the playlist in the video description. With that, we can get started with the first day of fall. If you remember previously from summer, we had planted our field with wheat seeds to maintain the hoed and watered land, and now the wheat has grown and is ready to be harvested. We will be replanting the field with 960 pumpkin seeds, since pumpkins will be our most profitable crop for the month of fall. They are still no match for our summer starfruit, but we still want to make use of our farmland, of course. We will not be putting pumpkins into kegs or preserve jars to make juice or pickles, as most of our wood and other resources are going to be put into crafting tons of kegs to turn all of our starfruit into wine. Starfruit has the highest crop base value at 750G, and this will triple when turned into wine, and then plus a 40% bonus from the artisan profession puts a single starfruit wine to sell for a price of 3,150G. After harvesting our wheat, let's go ahead and take a look in our chest, and right there we have 2,266 starfruit to be exact. We did have to sell a little bit of our gold starfruit to afford seeds during the summer, but that's alright. Most of this starfruit will definitely be turned into wine, and we'll also grow some more once we unlock Ginger Island. So right here, I craft some iridium sprinklers, as we will be expanding our field not to hold more pumpkins, but to hold all of the other fall crops. An iridium sprinkler will water 2 tiles away from it, meaning it covers a 5x5 area, and each sprinkler will water 24 crops. We will make a little setup above our main field to hold 24 of each of the other fall crop types, just for fun. All we really need is one of each to ship eventually, and a few that are needed in the community center bundles, but some may also be used for gifts or for cooking. We've left our farm since we mainly will need some money to buy the pumpkin seeds, so I'm going to sell some iridium bars. As you can see, we got our steel trash can. Don't know how useful that'll be, but again, we have plenty of money, so why not get every upgrade that there is? So we will go ahead and get the gold trash can as well, and then pick up a rare crow from the museum, just because why not? We'll go ahead and use that, since we'll need a few more scarecrows for our new farm area. And of course, we actually have to come to Pierre's now to pick up all of the seeds. So things like eggplants, cranberries, the ones that grow back, we'll only need 24 of, since we'll have 1 iridium sprinkler's worth of each of these. And then things like the bok choy, yams, flowers, eventually we'll want to come back for more seeds of those, since they don't grow back, and we'll want to replant them on our new little field. But the main focus, of course, is to buy 960 pumpkin seeds for our field. We can go ahead and use up the rest of the money to buy a little bit extra, since we will come back eventually for more seeds once we do our second harvest, so why not just spend the rest of our money and get some extra right now. So the area above our big field right here is where I plan to put all of our new crops. Unfortunately, that means the meteorite must leave. It was nice having it there as a little monument or something, but that's okay. It must go. And we're gonna start planting our pumpkin seeds. So the way I do this, again, the best way to do it is if you can find a continuous path to plant in, like I do here. Unfortunately, with the sprinklers, they kind of get in the way a little bit, so you do have to snake around the field just a little bit, as you can see I'm doing right now. But anyways, the method I'm using right now, where I'm holding my cursor way off to the side so that I can't reach a tile near me, it just means the seeds will get automatically planted at your feet. I do find it the best way right now, the most reliable way. I feel like if maybe I used my cursor and drew like little circles around where my player is walking, so that I get not only the tiles I'm walking on, but the ones next to me as well, it might go a bit quicker, but I feel like I would just end up missing all the seeds, because I have when I've tried this way before, so I do stick with just planting at my feet and walking around. It's still pretty quick. I find it to be way more reliable, and we'll just stick with that for now. Now that we've gotten the main goal of planting all those pumpkin seeds out of the way, we can start on our secondary goal, which is the secondary farm field for all of the other types of fall crops. So I do spend a little bit of extra time trying to make sure I carefully line up all these iridium sprinklers. Since it is rather tough to just eyeball it, I do count all of the spaces in between. Obviously it takes a little bit of extra time, but again, it's faster than placing them where I don't want them and then digging them up and then planting them again. So I think it's perfectly fine to take a little bit of extra time to do that. After placing all those, we are going to start hoeing the land, and the jades are ready, so of course I gotta harvest those real quick. Eventually we're going to craft a bunch of more crystallariums and get even more jade so that when we go back to Skull Cavern, we can just use tons of staircases to get far down in Skull Cavern and get to the levels where there's just a lot of iridium. Go ahead and use some magic rock candy and we'll be able to get just tons and tons of iridium from a Skull Cavern dive. Right here, what I'm doing is I'm gonna grab some of that quality fertilizer, and I'm probably gonna craft some as well, use some of the extra crab pot fish that I don't need. And this is just because some of the crops, for example the yams, maybe the cranberries, we'll want to use quality fertilizer on as opposed to speed grow. So the yams we'll probably want to do that on just because Linus likes yams, so we'll want to get a lot of gold quality yams for that reason. And then things like the cranberries that grow back, there is really no reason to use deluxe speed grow on because it only affects the initial growth, not the regrow time. So I'd rather get a little extra profit from them by use of the quality fertilizer. So we'll sort of plant everything in the order of priority, starting with the yams since they take 10 days to grow. So yams, we can fit 3 harvests into the month of fall without the use of deluxe speed grow, but they will grow up until the last day. So yams, if we want to have 3 harvests, we do have to plant on this first day of fall, which we do. The quality fertilizer will increase our chances at gold quality yams, which may be useful as a gift for Linus, but they will be outclassed once we get access to iridium quality cactus fruit or coconuts. Next up is the fairy rose, which normally grows in 12 days, but with our 10% agriculturalist bonus, will grow in 10 days. If we use quality fertilizer, we'd only get 2 harvests in the month of fall, which is why I will use deluxe speed grow here instead, so we can actually get 3 harvests. A bit later in the game, we can craft our fairy roses into fairy dust, which when used on a machine will instantly finish its process. And fairy roses are both loved by Jazz and Evelyn, so we can use them as a gift if we wish, although for Evelyn, beets will be a much better choice as they are a lot cheaper. Next up is sunflowers, which we will use deluxe speed grow with and could fit 5 harvests if we wanted to. However, with sunflowers and other crops that are not as useful for us, we may end up replanting the area with a more useful crop. A sunflower is needed in the community center's dye bundle and is loved by Haley, although the coconut will be a better option for her once we get to foraging level 10 and unlock the botanist profession, which will guarantee us iridium coconuts. We'll plant our cranberries next with quality fertilizer since deluxe speed grow does not affect the regrow time, only the initial growth of the cranberry. We will get 5 harvests of the cranberries, but won't have too much of a use for them. They are not used in any bundles or quests and are not loved by anyone. They are used in 4 different recipes, however, so it's good to have a small stock of them if we want. Of course, eventually we will need to cook every item in the game, so we want to make sure we have every ingredient we need. I did craft 4 scarecrows that I placed down to cover this new farmland to protect it from crows. The next seed we'll plant is the bok choy, which, as you can see, paired with deluxe speed grow, it grows every other day with replanting. We certainly will not need this much bok choy, so we will definitely start to grow a better crop in this area at some point. Bok choy just may be the least useful crop in the game, not used in any bundles or quests, not loved by anyone, and not very profitable. It is only used in one recipe, the super meal, and may show up for a help wanted quest, but that's about it. So we'll probably only do 1 or 2 harvests of bok choy, especially since we don't want to be replanting it and reharvesting it every other day. We also won't take the time to water the bok choy or the next crop we plant, which is eggplant, since our sprinklers can just cover them the next day. It will delay the growth by 1 day, but I'm not worried about that at all. We'll need to plant the last 2 crops tomorrow anyways, which are beets and amaranth. We'll be getting 5 harvests of eggplant, which we won't use for that much, but the eggplant is used in the fall crops bundle and the eggplant parmesan and survival burger recipes. The last crop we will plant tonight is the grape, which normally grows in 10 days and regrows every 3 days. We will use deluxe speed grow with these since it puts the initial growth down to 7 days and therefore nets us an extra harvest for 8 harvests. It's good I get these down and watered tonight since they will grow up until the last day of fall. We have already gotten grapes from summer foraging, so I won't grow as many as the other crops, but they are loved by Vincent and used in the summer foraging bundle, but of course we had already completed that. With that, we have reached the end of the day and pass out. It looks like the witch event is happening tonight, where she turns an egg into a void egg. When we put it in our incubator, we will hatch a void chicken that will lay more void eggs. The void egg can be turned into void mayonnaise, which is needed in the wizard's quest line. We've made it to fall day 2, and as you can see, our house upgrade is complete. So we have the kitchen now, we have a new bedroom, and of course we have to move our bed right next to the TV and exit. Before the 1.5 update and ability to move your bed, the house upgrade was probably rather annoying for min-max runs as you'd have to walk further from your bed to the house exit. We will go ahead and plant our rare seed, which will grow into a sweet gem berry eventually, which we can use to get a star drop from the statue in the secret wood. We'll also go ahead and finally craft some kegs, place them down, and just start processing some of our coffee beans, which we can turn into coffee. Eventually we'll make a lot more kegs, place them all around the bus stop area, and start turning all of our starfruit into wine. But again, we really don't need to get all of that money from the starfruit until the end of winter is probably when I project we will sell all of it, just so we can have a lot of money by the end of year 1 just for fun. Maybe we can even afford the gold clock and all the obelisks and stuff by the end of year 1. So as we keep getting more and more oak resin and wood, we'll craft more and more kegs and process much more starfruit into wine. We are going to head into the town to find Penny since it's her birthday, but it looks like we are first greeted with a cutscene. This cutscene will trigger once you first walk into town starting on day 2 of fall. Mayor Lewis explains to us the new special orders board, which Robin has constructed. We are going to hope we get some good special orders that unlock useful things down the line, such as the bone mill, monster musk, or fiber seeds, and hopefully not get the not as useful ones. The quests come back every Monday and are random, and you do get 2 options, so it is nice that we can pick 1 of 2 and hopefully get the better ones. I do not know for sure if special orders are determined by the game seed and therefore can be predicted, or rather just randomly generated at the start of each week. I am leaning towards the latter since the predictor does not include these quests, but I am not 100% sure. If anyone does know for sure, please let me know, but for now, we will keep with the idea that they are randomly generated every Monday. This would possibly mean we could roll back a day in order to re-roll the quests we get to choose from, but the quest generation would occur at night, meaning we would have to keep restarting and replaying the previous day, and I'm telling you right now that I do not want to keep repeating fall day 1 over and over again until we get the best quest. So we will just end up going with the best option we can pick from and hopefully get a good one. After giving Penny a loved melon for her birthday, we head back to the farm and grab our first maple syrup along the way. We will craft a bee house with it right away so we can get honey as soon as possible. Honey is an option for the community center's artisan bundle, so we may end up using it there if we do not get any other options sooner. So I did pick up a few of our basic sprinklers just because I want to have a little bit of more working room here, and we will grab a desert warp totem to go to Sandy's, as we'll buy some beet seeds from her. I'm also going to grab just a few starfruits to sell to Pierre, since we will need a source of money, and I did sell all my iridium bars, so again, it's worth it to sell the gold quality starfruits right now, just so I can get some more seeds that I want. But anyway, we have a cutscene on our hands since we did give Penny that melon for her birthday, and it was a gold star quality one, so we probably got at least 2 hearts with her now. And this is her 2-heart cutscene, which is activated when walking into Pelican Town on a sunny day between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. George is upset with Penny for trying to help him reach his mail, as clearly he does everything by himself, and I'm sure Evelyn never needs to help him with anything, like going to the doctor, or cooking him leeks, or any of the other many things I'm sure Evelyn does for him. Anyways, we get a dialogue option, and we want to support Penny by saying she did a kind thing for George there. This option will give us plus 50 points of friendship with Penny. If we had agreed with George, we would lose 50 points with her, and the last option, saying we are minding our own business, would have no effect on friendship. George does lighten up a bit and apologizes and tells Penny she did a nice thing for him there. After he goes inside, Penny makes a comment about growing old, and we are given 4 different dialogue options, which all will have no effect on friendship points. After this, we will head on over to Pierre's, where we'll make sure to sell our starfruit, and then pick up some amaranth seeds since we haven't picked up any of those yet, and we'll want to plant those, and we'll also pick up some of the other crop seeds that don't grow back automatically and that we'll need to replace with eventually. We also sold quite a bit, and we don't really need all this money for beet seeds, so I will pick up a few pumpkin seeds, and we will head over to the saloon where we will purchase all of the recipes we can. The triple shot espresso is quite an expensive one, but it is worth it. We'll want to craft our coffee into the triple shot, as the speed buff lasts for 4 minutes and 12 seconds, as opposed to 3 coffees in a row, which would be 4 minutes and 9 seconds. So it's only a 3-second difference, probably doesn't mean that much, but the big thing is this saves us a lot of time since we'll only have to drink 1 coffee every 4 minutes or so, as opposed to 3 times in that same time span. After spending the rest of our money on some beet seeds from Sandy and foraging the desert, we head back to our farm. We will quickly cycle our kegs with more coffee, and then plant our amaranth and beets, both with deluxe speed grow. If we wanted to, we could fit 6 harvests of amaranth and 8 harvests of beets in the month of fall when planting on the 2nd day. Amaranth is not too useful though, so we will likely replant the space with a different crop, but it is used in a quest for Marnie and in the salmon dinner recipe, which is loved by Alex. Beets are a bit more useful, as we will need 10 for a mysterious key quest, and they are also loved by Evelyn, used in the vegetable medley recipe, and can be turned into sugar at a farm mill structure, although we can just buy sugar from Pierre's. Beets are also very cheap at 20G, so it's easy to afford lots of them, although I probably overestimated how much money I wanted today and ended up selling too many starfruits and getting too much money, and then buying too many beet seeds, but we can use them as a filler crop to fill in farm space if we have nothing better to plant there. After planting those, we headed down to the southern forest and did a quick loop around, harvesting the stumps in the secret woods to get that foraging XP. We still want to rack that up, and then getting some of the fall forageables since it is the 2nd day of fall and we haven't really gotten any forageables. We did get some blackberries, but it looks like no wild plum or hazelnut, which we'll need all of those to complete the fall foraging bundle at the community center. So if you did notice, I did place down that bee house so we can start getting honey, and I'm going to finish up hoeing up the space here, watering it, and putting some more deluxe fertilizer, and just filling all of this space with beets, just because I'd like to make full use out of all of our sprinklers and tiles that we already have here, so we'll go ahead and do that. We'll also go ahead and harvest our crab pot, since I am pretty sure I have been kind of slacking on doing that. And then we'll come back to our chests, do a bunch of organizing. I am going to put some hops in the kegs to get some pale ale, since we'll eventually need a pale ale for a quest for Pam, and we'll also want to get beer eventually, and mead, which is from honey, just so we can have something of everything. And we will be spending the rest of our day in the mines, and we will be farming dust sprites for coal, and if we see any iron along the way, we'll want that as well. We're gonna go ahead and just speed up this real quick, and before I skip over the rest of the day, I do kind of want to show how I farm all the dust sprites and just kind of go floor to floor on the elevator. So right here, if you'll take a look, I go to floor 45, then I'll go to floor 55, then 65, and finally 75. And basically what I'm doing is just trying to save time by not going down any ladders or anything, and just using the elevator. I can instantly travel from floor to floor, and these floors with multiples of 5 will have dust sprites on them sometimes, and we can instantly see them and not have to waste any time going from floor to floor. The downside to this is ores cannot spawn on the elevator floors, but that is alright. With that, we have reached the end of this day and video. We managed to get our fall field all set up with all the crops planted, and next time we'll continue our journey with some fishing and item collecting and a skull cavern dive as well. If you look forward to the rest of fall, please consider subscribing and feel free to leave a comment with what you liked or with any suggestions or questions. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.